Certainly, it's good to see all of your faces, at least virtually. Um, we're really excited about the season getting going. Obviously, the last year has been a year unlike any other in so many respects. But getting back and having the first games to look forward to gives our group a sense of normalcy. I'm excited about our team. Obviously, we lost some real key players in Marcus Howard and Sakar Annam. But the group that we have with us now, I think it will be a very exciting group. It's a very versatile group, athletic, long. They've shown to be very willing learners and have great attitudes. I'm excited about the potential of the team and see where we can go with it.
Thanks, Coach. Our first question will go to Ben Steele.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Just how is everybody's health doing? I know you guys are shut down for a couple weeks here. How's everybody doing health-wise?
Everybody's great health-wise. I think our guys feel good. Obviously, we're not able to be on the court as a group right now because of the NCAA guidelines. But in terms of how our players feel from a health perspective, they feel really good.
How are you navigating these couple weeks here? Is it just like the summertime where it's daily Zooms, or what are you guys doing?
Yeah, obviously we can't be on the court as a team, but we're trying to do things to continue to move our team forward, whether that's team meetings or studying what we have done to this point, identifying roles, identifying both individually and collectively areas that to this point where we've been able to work together, we're doing well and need to continue to do, or areas that we need to improve. So a lot of mental training, a lot of mental reps, as opposed to physical 5-on-5.
Next, we'll go to Steve Megarry from the Associated Press.
Thanks for doing this. I was just wondering if you could go into the details just on how tough it's the biggest challenges in terms of trying to put together a schedule. I know y'all came out this today with the schedule through Christmas, but what have been the challenges inherent in trying to put something together under these obstacles, and how difficult it's been preparing for a season when there's so much unknown with the schedule?
Well, usually schedules are done well in advance, and obviously this year we weren't able to do that. And because there's so many different moving parts to the schedule, it creates some real complications. But we feel good about where we landed. We feel good about our schedule. I think it strikes a really good balance for our group. But needless to say, scheduling this year was unlike it's ever been. And we had to really work as a group here at Marquette, and then work with a number of other different schools to figure out, how we could get it accomplished. And fortunately, we were able to. Now, hopefully the schedule will go off without a hitch.
Next, we'll go to Stephen Watson from WISN.
Hey, Coach. Hope all is well with you and the rest of the team. I was curious about your thoughts on just watching the NBA go through the bubble, with the understanding that the Big East could potentially go into a bubble given COVID outbreaks, and just for you guys being the first team that's going through this, what's been the biggest challenge for you, and do you feel like a bubble would work?
I do feel like a bubble could work, and it may end up being our best option with the NCAA guidelines as they are right now. To think that we're the only university that's going to have a COVID positive test is just not realistic, especially with where our country is trending as it relates to COVID. So we may find that although we're going to start the season in a travel model, the best bet to have a season that best resembles what we're all used to in a lot of ways is a bubble. The challenge becomes, not all conferences are following the NCAA guidelines. We are as the Big East, but not all conferences are doing that. Because we are following the NCAA guidelines, it makes things a lot more complicated. And we have to be prepared with a number of different alternatives to follow different paths to get a great Big East season in.
Go to John Fanta.
Steve, to have the preseason freshman of the year, we knew that Dawson Garcia, was a highly ranked prospect, and I know things are unorthodox right now, but what's it been like to, interact with him on a daily basis when you have, and just get a chance early on here to actually coach him?
Yeah, Dawson's got a really bright future. He's a guy that has tremendous versatility. He's got a really good competitive spirit and motor. He wants to get better, and he brings a high level of effort each and every day. I've been really fortunate in my time here to coach a number of guys. I think almost one every year that have been on the all freshman team. And Dawson, stands out among that group. He's a kid who's got a chance to have a huge impact on us winning this year. And so I'm excited to coach him every day, and I'm excited for Marquette fans to watch him play.
Next, we'll go to Doug Feinberg from the AP.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. You mentioned a little bit how, we'd be foolish to think that no other schools have to go through what you guys are going through right now, the way COVID is going. And there's no coaching playbook 101 to get through this. Has it at least gotten your teams a little more attention? Not that they weren't paying attention before, but hey, if we're not smart, we might be in this position again in 2 more weeks or a month from now when we're in the middle of a season. Has it made it a little bit easier for you to say to them, guys, wear your mask, socially distant, do what you need to do. Don't be a typical 18 to 22-year-old so that we don't have to be in this position later on again?
Yeah, our guys have been incredibly responsible. This wasn't the first time we test. We've tested our guys like crazy. And so we're talking about an outlier situation. We're not talking about the norm. Our guys have been incredibly responsible. And, we have obviously talked about being socially responsible and all the things that are recommended to prevent the spread of COVID. And our guys have done that at an incredibly high level. That's why the COVID positive test was confusing, to be quite frank with you, because I'm not sure that our guys could be doing anything more than they're already doing. They are being responsible. They're wearing masks. They're socially distancing. They're practicing proper hygiene. Their lives have been essentially a class Al McGuire Center dorm room, period. And so, but that's what makes this situation in COVID tricky, because there's always a level of risk associated with COVID, even when you are being incredibly responsible. So, we'll keep preaching it. I think our guys will continue to do the right things, and we'll hope that we don't have any more outlier situations. But the fact is, it can happen to anyone. It really can. My wife's in the healthcare field, and, no one is immune to this virus. Even those of us who are doing the things that the healthcare professionals are asking us to do. That's what makes it a complicated thing. So, yeah, again, long answer to your question, but yes, we will continue to preach. Our guys will continue to follow, and we'll hope for the best.
Next, we'll go to Brian D.
Hey, Coach, your program has been really remarkably successful, particularly at Fiserv Forum since it opened. If fans aren't allowed in there at any point this season, how impactful might that be to your season and to your players in particular?
Well, it will have an impact. The level of impact is yet to be seen, but there's no question that at Fiserv, our fans do an incredible job of creating a home court advantage, giving our team life, and making it hard for opponents to play. Without having fans, that will have an impact. There's no question about that. And to think otherwise would be foolish. We have to try to not allow it. If it is the case, we're not allowed to have fans. Impact is to the point where we don't still have a home court advantage. And that will be on us. I hope for our fans' sake, there will be an opportunity for them to come watch our team in some shape or form in person. But I don't know that at this point. And we have to prepare like we won't have fans while we're all hoping that there's a chance we do.
We'll go to Kevin McNamara next. Kevin.
Coach, I'm curious what your opinions are of this 14-day break that the NCAA is mandating. Obviously, you're in the midst of it now. If this happens in January, teams can't play games for a while. Do you think it needs to be studied further, altered? Have you had other tests, other positive tests throughout this 14-day break?
Really good question. You know, the one thing I just want to clarify, it's not an NCAA mandate. It's an NCAA guideline. And so that's what they recommend. And that walks in concert with what the CDC recommends. And so that's what the NCAA has said is the best practice for, you know, all the schools competing in Division I college basketball. I think one of the things you've seen is some colleges or some leagues have come to the conclusion of other ways to do it. The one positive test and 14-day quarantine is a challenge. There's no question about that. And you know, there's going to be outbreaks across the country. There's going to be outbreaks across our league. And the 14-day quarantine creates a lot of problems, not only for the school that is going through it, but also when we're in season, the schools that are supposed to play that school. And so that's why we, as a league, if we're going to continue to follow the NCAA guidelines, we have to be prepared for alternate ways to look at getting a conference season in. And I think our league has said that we're doing that, and we are, which is smart. You know, it's a complicated thing. Obviously, as a coach, your number one priority always is the health and safety of the young men you coach. And so we don't ever want to put our kids in a position where we're putting them in harm's way. But there's also a side of it that our kids, and I would assume every kid that's wearing a Big East member institution uniform, wants to have a season. And we need to make sure that happens, and I believe we will. And because our league is, you know, we have great teams in our league. It'll be as good a league as there is in the United States, and we need to protect guys, but also allow them to have a season that is representative of the quality of the Big East and the Big East student athletes who represent each of the schools.
Next, we'll go to Lance Allen.
Steve, Marcus Howard meant so much to you guys on and off the court. How do you replace that?
Yeah, obviously Marcus was an incredible player for us and an incredible young man. I mean, as much as he did for us on the court, he did as much off the court and behind the scenes. And you don't replace him on the floor with one player. That would be impossible. You don't plug in another 26, 27 point a game scorer. What you do is you have to take up those losses collectively, especially on the offensive end. And in that respect, there's some exciting things to that. I think we can be a more balanced team. I think, we'll look different on both ends of the floor than we did with Marcus. And time will tell if that's better, but we'll certainly look different. But I like our depth. I think we have a lot of very good players who can impact winning. I think we can score in a lot of different ways, and I think we have defensive versatility. And I'm hoping that those things translate to a lot of wins.
Next, we'll go to Nicholas Galley from the Marquette Wire.
Hi, Coach. So you had Dawson obviously named as preseason freshman of the year, and you also had DJ as an All Big East honorable mention. What have you kind of seen from the new transfers and the incoming freshmen? How have they kind of impacted the team both on and off the court?
Yeah, it's a group that has a high level of talent and obviously still learning, our system, but they bring things to the table from a physical standpoint, from a skill standpoint, and a competitive spirit standpoint that are really exciting and encouraging. Obviously, we were pleased that both Dawson and DJ were recognized in the preseason for their potential impact on our team. And I think those are realistic goals for those guys. But in addition to those two, Justin Lewis, Osei Barrow, those guys have a chance to really impact our team too. So, while DJ and Dawson, have received these preseason honors, we're excited about our new faces as a whole. And we believe all those guys have a chance to impact our team in a very positive way, in a way that contributes to winning.
Time for a few more. We'll go to John Tiedel from hoopshd.com.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, Coach. Just wanted to follow up on DJ. You certainly do. I can tell that you care about the safety of your players, especially physically. But when it comes to mental health safety, can you share a little bit about what it's like to recruit a player who left his previous team due to mental health issues? And in this current era where everybody's kind of like freaking out a little bit, do you have to take extra precautions or like check in with them, or how is it working out?
Well, it's working out really well. I mean, obviously, I think our program has been on the forefront of providing appropriate and necessary mental health for all our players, not just DJ. If you take Marcus Howard as an example, he was a very vocal advocate about the mental health of not only himself, but all student athletes. And we've walked this journey with a lot of young men because mental health is a part of growth and development. And just like you train your body and you learn ways to improve your body or your game, there's opportunities to help yourself from a mental standpoint as well. And this is not new to us. This is something that we've always believed in. And everybody individually has their own path, and they have strengths and they have challenges. And we need to be there as a program, and I need to be there as a leader to provide them the resources to help them continue to build on their strengths, but also address some of the challenges they need. I think it's an essential part of college and any major sports program in college. I mean, and it's not a stigma. This is something that show strength and courage when young men seek out help to address things that are bothering them or challenging them. And we're happy and we're incredibly willing to help all our guys become the person that they want to become.
Thank you for that, Coach. Time for a couple more. We'll go to Zoe Comerford from the Marquette Wire.
Wisconsin and UCLA during the non-conference prepared the team for that grueling December conference season, obviously starting out with Creighton and then Seton Hall as the home opener.
I'm sorry, Zoe, you broke up on me.
Okay, that's so how are playing those high-level teams like Wisconsin and UCLA during that non-conference prepared the team for that grueling December conference season, starting out with Creighton, obviously, for the first conference game, and then Seton Hall as that home opener?
Yeah, it's always important to challenge yourself in the non-conference because the beast that is the Big East is always awaiting, and you want to play teams of a high caliber that's going to challenge your group and your program so you can see where you're at. You can get a realistic representation of where you are at as a team. And we think we've done that in our non-conference scheduling. Not just Wisconsin and UCLA, Oklahoma State, and so on and so forth. We believe our non-conference prepares us for the Big East, and the Big East has a chance to be as good as a league this year as it's been since I've been the head coach at Marquette. So we need those challenges to get us ready for Big East play.
And our last one of the session will come from Ben Steele. Ben?
You guys can kind of start practicing again November 4th, and then 3 weeks after that's the first game. So how do you plan on ramping up and getting the team ready?
Well, we have to make really efficient use of time, Ben. Through 3 weeks is not a lot of time, but it's enough time for us to do, I think, what we need to do to get ready for games. And that's our reality. So, we have to do the best under the circumstances that we're in, and we can't make excuses. We have to make incredible use of our time from a physical, mental, and emotional standpoint to get us ready for a really challenging season. And so all of our coaches, our players are all aware of that. We're doing things now to try to move our team forward so we'll even be better prepared when we're allowed back on the court as a team. And we're not going to make any excuses. And that's not what we're going to do, because that's a waste of time. And we're gonna work each day to maximize the time we do have and do our best to get prepared for games when they arrive.
All right. Thanks, Coach, for taking the time this morning, and thanks to all the media for the questions. This is a full recorded. This will be available later today. It'll be sent out to the full RSVP list. Coach, thanks for taking the time. Up next in this room in about 20 minutes will be Coach Hurley. So, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.